Alright folks, welcome. We're going to do a little different video today, sort of uncharted territory for me. I've put together a little PowerPoint and I'm going to do a voiceover. I had to figure out how to do all this, so I hope you appreciate it. Now, the picture you see in front of you right now is a current listing on Facebook Marketplace. And there's two major things wrong with this. Some of you have already figured that out. So, we're doing this video for two reasons. One, as you can see, there's my cursor up here in red. People who are building these need to stop doing this, and we'll get into just what you can do to make them better later on. The second thing is to bring awareness to this to people who may be thinking about buying this or similar items. Some of you may have already figured out that I like stuff like this. I like older machines. I think they're far better quality, and they will outlast a new one. There's a few upgrades you can do to make them start easier, and there's a few things you can do to just cause yourself a lot of trouble, and this person's done that. So let's move on to the next picture. Alright, so this is a close-up of this same one. Now what you have here is an older... Oh, I don't have my cursor. Okay. Oh yeah, I do. So this base here is an older tiller, probably something from the 60s, 70s, 80s, maybe, I don't know. I have one of these myself, very similar, may even be the same one, not sure. Works awesome. But this motor is off a snowblower. This is an 8-horse Tecumseh. Great motor, but in its current configuration, not set up for summertime use. On top of that, it is way too big for that machine, so at least twice the size. That machine right there would run just fine with a little 2 horsepower on it, but 4 or 5 is really kind of what you want on something like that. Other than the size, you see this airbox over here. Let's go to the next slide. It's circled in red. So this is the piece we're talking about. Now we'll go back to that original image here, just so you can get a better look at it. So I can't tell you the exact name for that. I call them plenums. Some people call them heater boxes, but basically what you have there, you have a muffler. Find my cursor again. There it is. So you have this muffler, and it's partially encased in this plenum along with your carburetor. So for wintertime use, this keeps your carburetor warm, stops it from icing up. Now, if you deal with snow blowers, you'll know that they do not have an air filter. They don't need an air filter because they're always working in a clean environment. Plus, if you had one on it, they'd plug up with snow. So this particular one, I actually messaged them. I had no intention of buying it for obvious reasons. I just asked how long they've been using it, and if they'd have said, well, we just put it together or we tilled our garden with it and that was it, I may have considered giving them an offer. Nowhere near what they were asking for it, mind you. But they said they used it for 2 seasons already and it's worked great, and yeah, probably. But that thing has sucked up a lot of dirt in 2 seasons. It's a good thing it's an 8-horse, because if it was a proper size engine, it probably wouldn't have enough horsepower to do its job anymore. Now, here we have a picture. I honestly cannot tell you if this is factory or if this is a retrofit, but it doesn't matter. This one is the same engine, but it has the proper breather on it, and a little different carb, but doesn't really matter. I just needed an image to show what we're looking at. That's this piece here in red. Next to that piece is your carburetor. This is perfectly acceptable. There is one thing I will say about this, and that is this fuel line is not routed correctly. You can actually see these 2 holes here. That's where your fuel line should go through, but they didn't do it. Not a big deal, just cosmetic. So this piece right here, this is your choke lever on a snowblower. It protrudes out through that plenum. Now in the image, the one that's for sale that started this whole thing, it's missing that red thing on the end, red button, but it doesn't really matter. So here's a new carburetor. You see this lever up top here. That's your choke lever. Once you pull that plenum off, you no longer need that little button and bracket. You take that and throw it away, and you just operate that directly with your fingers. Now here is the current production air breather that'll bolt right onto that. Now this is what was it, Jack Small Engines. They're selling them for $16.50. So that's not very much money to take, take that motor and convert it over to a usable summertime engine from a winter engine. Now here in Canada, they're going to run you almost twice that. I think they were $29 something on Amazon. So let's see what we got on the next slide. Okay, Briggs & Stratton. Now, Briggs & Stratton, their carburetors are a little different. They have a little offset on them. I'll show you a picture of that carburetor here in a second. Now, this is off of your typical push mower. It has a, you can't really see it, but it does have a primer in them. Some of them actually don't. They just have it blanked off. But you could mount this on a horizontal shaft engine with a carburetor like this, and it'll work just as well as it does on your lawnmower. You could also mount that Tecumseh one on here. It would be a little canted a little bit, but that's perfectly fine. I believe that's the end of the slideshow. It is. So I'm gonna pretty well end it there. I will say that if you find one of these and it's a good deal, before you go spending some money on something that looks good and probably did work great when they build it, find out how long they've been running it with no air filter. Because if they've done anything more than tilled their garden once, I wouldn't buy it. Or if I did buy it, I would fully expect on having to not only spend $20 to put a filter on it, but also a good possibility you might need a set of rings. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you liked it, and we'll see you next time. I hope this saves somebody a little bit of frustration, and also I hope to anybody out there that are building these and flipping them, you are providing a valuable service if you do it right. But if you're just sticking a wintertime engine with no air filter, you're just costing somebody money in the long run. So until the next video, have a good day.